What's up, guys? We're here at AMC Times Square Chasing Cinema.
Mr. James Hsu.com,
and we're here for Marvel and Sony's Spider-Man Far From Home.
On the week, we celebrate America's independence, and we grill hot dogs and jump in the pool and
hamburgers.
Just celebrate America, that is things. What greater way to celebrate America than one of America's favorite superheroes, Spider-Man.
Merchandise king.
Not the second, but the third film iteration of Spider-Man. But you and I both big fans of Tom Holland as Spider-Man. What were your thoughts on Homecoming?
It was good.
Yeah.
I liked it. And I was surprised because, like you said, at that point it was the seventh solo of the films, and it's just like, holy crap, you know, because Tobey Maguire's, which Tobey Maguire annoyed me.
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, I liked.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't mind Andrew.
When they said that they're going to do it again, I was just like,
no way.
Beating a dead horse. And then surprisingly fresh, and I enjoyed it very much so.
Yeah, I think I said, like, Homecoming is one of the Marvel movies that I think I've revisited more than any other.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah, I think I really enjoy this because I think it tells the story of both Peter Parker and Spider-Man very well. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I think Spider-Man 2 still has to be one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. So I'm not going to be like, this is the greatest, you know, he's the greatest, this is the greatest Spider-Man movie ever. But I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I think if you have to pick Spider-Man, I think he is the best Spider-Man. Do I think Homecoming's the best Spider-Man movie? No, but it definitely tells a much more emotional story of a kid than, you know, those Spider-Man movies did. But a big fan. Then we go into Endgame, and we have, I guess we'll be spoiling Endgame, so if you've not seen it yet, you know, that's on you. You know, we have this really strong emotional arc for the character of Peter Parker, and I'm really excited to see where this goes and kind of see how this character deals with what has happened now over all this time. So, now we have Spider-Man Far From Home. What did you think?
The trailers honestly didn't do too much for me.
I agree.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was because I was so jacked for Endgame, and then this one just, you know, a few months later came out. It's technically still in the theater right now.
Yeah.
So it didn't get me jacked, but we just got out.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I don't know if I loved it, but I really enjoyed myself. There's not much I didn't like. I don't even know if I can even think of anything I didn't like about it. It was a lot of fun. And Zendaya in part 1, I didn't care for the Mary Jane character, or MJ character, I should say. We don't know yet. I didn't care for the MJ character in that one, and she actually it really annoyed me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you
and in
complained
this one,
about her in there.
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I still did, or I still do. But this one, I feel like they did a 180 with that character, and I really liked it. And I liked, you know, the love story, and I liked how they played into that. And I'm sure we'll do spoilers toward the end of this review. But overall, the movie was great. The score was great. Tom Holland is a great Spider-Man. Yeah, I think he's just a great Spider-Man. And then people like me who are always on like movie news websites and stuff like that, they had been talking about the plot of this film for the longest time of this is potentially a thing. And then one of those rumors ended up being true in this film. So I wasn't surprised by that.
Super surprised by one of the main twists in the movie.
I wasn't surprised at all, just because
you were like,
I spoiled it for myself by just going on these websites on a daily over the past, I guess 2 years.
Yeah, of course.
You know, because 2 years probably.
Yeah. Well, because. Well, especially when they announced Mysterio, everyone was like, oh, what? You know?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden all the things,
all the things
any comic that's ever come out, and then I've watched it all, and it's like, you know, I already knew it. So, but it didn't ruin the movie for me. I still really enjoyed this movie. It's not better than Endgame to me, but I really enjoyed it. They have 2 spoiler end credit scenes that the first one I have to talk to you about after when it's time.
Yeah.
And watch the movie. It's great.
I believe per Kevin Feige, you know, CEO of all this is the concluding chapter.
That's it.
Of the Infinity Saga.
Yeah.
Endgame actually wasn't the end. This is going to be the end.
Yeah. There was a lot of Tony Stark shadow.
Yeah, how do you feel about all that? The connection and kind of the ending of the Avengers that we know.
They did it in Homecoming. All the shadowing of Tony Stark.
Yeah.
This one, it was maybe even heavier. Just Tony Stark everywhere, and I believe them. I believe that especially with the end credits, the second end credit scene, they're about to just go into a whole new
universe.
A whole new universe, and so it was just really. And then it started with the Whitney Houston song.
Oh, yes. Did you hear me go? Yes.
Yeah, I did. And then they had the Marvel Vision and all that. I enjoyed that.
Oh, the slideshow. Yeah, the slideshow is good.
I enjoyed that, and then I liked.
Actually, I was gonna say You know, and that's why it's always good to keep a notepad. But I thought, I'm glad you brought that up because that's something I probably would have forgotten, but I thought that was like one of the most creative ways to recap the audience and to bring them into the world.
In the blip?
And they were just all, they were so funny, those two. And
I like how you can see the
one character becomes,
continuously coming into the
one of the characters obviously becomes a main staple in the movie who also I find funny throughout the entire, but it was just such a great way to start it. That was really cheeky. So liking Homecoming as much as I did, but also watching all the other Spider-Man movies, I was very nervous when I saw the sequel trailer because the one thing we've learned is that when there's a lot of superheroes or there tends to be a lot of supervillains with CGI in a Spider-Man movie, bad things happen. It happened with 3, you know, and then like there's that water.
Part 2 wasn't great.
Yeah, no. Well, no, I'm talking about the original Spider-Man. Part 3 when we had like Sandman. Yeah, Part 2 is amazing. I was going to say, whoa, Part 3, like, you know, it's Sandman. And
the graphics of Sandman I thought was cool.
And it did, but when we saw that the water creature in this, you know, it was kind of like, whoa, flashback, yeah. Back. And then, you know, of course, with Jamie Foxx and the Amazing Spider-Man 2.
There was EDM playing in the background of Electro. There's the problem.
Because I will say, at first, I wasn't crazy about how Mysterio looked in the trailer, but I loved Mysterio.
He looked awesome.
He does look awesome. Yeah. So, rest assured, I'm glad to say...
Get this stupid suit off me.
Yeah, I'm glad to say that this... isn't anything to be nervous about.
No.
It's a totally positive experience. I won't say I liked it better than Homecoming. To me, I think this movie, it definitely worked. I really love being able to explore the Avengers universe from a pedestrian side, and this movie always kind of allows us to do this. And the Spider-Man movies really kind of walk this fine line where it's both a superhero movie, but it also has to deal with, you know, the kind of just teenager comedy. And in this movie, it feels like a very teenager comedy with hero aspects, at least until the third, you know, the end of second and beginning of the third act. I mean, it's really heavy until that. But that first half of the movie, it's just kind of this rom-com story with these little superhero aspects that, you know, these characters have to deal with. Mysterio, I mean, I love Jake Gyllenhaal. I would, you know, I've been saying I think Jake Gyllenhaal is one of the best working, like, for a minute. I think he's phenomenal. To see him in the MCU, I think is really, really cool, especially with that character. To me, I don't think at the end of everything that character is very memorable to me. I don't think it made a great impact. I don't think he'll be one of the more memorable villains of the MCU, which is a bummer. I think there was so much potential there. But Tom Holland is back in full force, and I don't think, even with as great as Spider-Man 2 is, I don't think I've ever cared about Spider-Man as much as I have until these films, and Tom Holland really taking that character and, you know, allowing this movie to kind of be this, you know, characters mourning and grieving and going through that while also just trying to be a kid and kind of having the fun and joy of teenage life. It was a really great balance, and I think it makes for solid viewing for sure. I think there were some really cool action sequences. I think there were some that were kind of cheesy, you know, but I think there are some really good moments here in this movie as far as action beats. Some of which I'll wait to kind of talk about. I want to really get into spoilers without talking or spoiling anything, but overall a solid movie. I don't think as good as the first, but
you know what's impressive?
Yeah,
in 8 films they were still able to throw in some new views of him swinging.
Yeah, no,
that's
absolutely
impressive.
So I will say, okay, well I guess I should say that for spoilers. No, I won't. There is a scene in which Spider-Man is holding someone as he's swinging in this movie that it immediately made me think of when I had seen, you know,
Kristen Dunst?
Yeah, you know, and it's it looks like the mannequin, and they show that clip over and over again, and my God, it looks miles better. And I was trying to think, I don't remember if they've done that since then, or if they have, it was never a scene that really stuck out.
Yeah,
in this moment,
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, in this moment, it's very, very prominent, and it's very cool. I thought it was like one of the better shots in the movie. But, you know, I think it's cool. I think I'm on board for wherever this Spider-Man story goes. I think there's a lot of growth for the character. Jon Favreau, who never really, you know, of course, plays this very background character who doesn't always have the opportunity to get emotional or to bring a lot of emotion to the screen, really plays a key role here, and you know, a very nice kind of post-Tony, you know, Happy Hogan, and I like to see that change. I will criticize the movie because I do think Zendaya's character, MJ, switched a little bit too quickly for me.
You know why? Because no one liked her in 1.
That's fine, but like at least subtly do it. I mean, I think that her first line in the movie is "Hey losers," and then I think that's the last time she's kind of like dorks, the kind of smart aleck bully, and then the rest of the movie she turns into the awkward, socially awkward, doesn't know how to communicate girl, and that's a bit of a jump for me, and I was kind of like, all right, like I'll go with it because you're right, she's super charismatic, she's super charming, and she's so likable as that character, but different than the MJ that I first met. So you know, just that if I'm gonna pick on anything. And I'm not 100% on board with where this movie ends up going storyline wise. Again, we'll get into this in spoilers, but again, I think a strong movie and a, you know, a solid Spider-Man story. Let's get into
You know what's amazing?
Do anything else? Go on.
Another thing
besides Spider-Man?
Yeah. 23, 4, 5 films later, they're still able to crank out, like, even though this one was one of our favorite Marvel film, it's just like, it's insane, bro. If you really think about it, I haven't not liked an MCU movie probably since Marvel Iron Man 3 probably.
Think about it this way.
For me,
Burger King has made an entire business on altering the Whopper. They've done it for 30 years. The angry Whopper, this Whopper, the A1. I mean, Marvel could do it for 20, 30 years, you know? Once you get the standard formula, you got it. As long as you could create emotional stories, great characters, and good action beats, it'll always work. Anything else pre-spoilers? All right, let's hop into spoilers.
Okay, first thing I gotta say, they finally, in the entire history of all comic book films, when they rebooted, they've never kept the same character, and for the first time ever, the one person that everyone
who survived the MCU
the one person that everyone said if you're ever gonna break this rule, this is the guy you have to do it. They did it with. I can't even believe they did it. And J.K. Simmons is J. Jonah Jameson. That is amazing.
Spider-Man's menace. Yeah,
that is amazing. But
absolutely.
You're right though. He's bald now.
Yeah,
it was weird.
It was weird. It was weird because I was like, oh, this is awesome. But then something was like, but he looks weird. Why does he look weird? And I realized, oh wait, he's supposed to have hair. You know, maybe I don't know, because I didn't really pay attention to the aesthetic. I would assume they should be able to use those rights to the character, but maybe because J.K. Simmons.
Well, it's still under Sony, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, that's true. So then there shouldn't be.
Doesn't matter.
So there shouldn't be anything. Because I thought maybe they just were playing.
I'm so glad though they brought.
But it was a great cameo. The second end credit scene, I could care less about. And to be honest, the more that we explore this other universe space, I kind of wonder, you know, because I think that asks a lot more than sci-fi coming to Earth. I think is a lot more digestible for the audience. I think the more you become more sci-fi and outer space-wise, I think you're gonna, you know, you'll run into some people not getting into the universe thing maybe.
Well, I don't know if you remember when they first announced Guardians of the Galaxy, I said no one's gonna want that.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, that's not gonna. But I don't know if you remember that. I was like, I finally understand what people who first saw Star Wars feel like.
Yeah. And I will say, like, obviously, you know, they've been able to, and obviously Star Wars is a prime example of sci-fi being mainstream, but, you know, it is different, and I think, you know, sometimes sci-fi is a bit much for some people, but I think for me, the whole Captain Marvel starts, or the whole universe storyline that we're going into already kind of just not so crazy about, so maybe I'm just a little bit more hesitant. But anyway, like we said, Marvel has the formula. They pump out good stuff. I'll be there as long as it remains emotional. So
that was interesting. That was never Samuel Jackson and Maria Hill.
Yeah, that was interesting.
The whole movie,
I don't know if it necessarily, you know, did much for me in terms of like, was it necessary? Just kind of.
That wasn't necessary for me. It was nice to see.
I mean, obviously they were trying to get into something at the end of something, but I mean, at that point you're just kind of like, all right, like.
I was like, oh, okay.
All right, yeah, of course. So, you know, there's another twist. I mean, honestly, that the J.K. Simmons thing is probably the biggest reward for the end. So for me. And I actually thought it was kind of funny because my problem with the movie is probably just I wasn't crazy about the whole. There wasn't much of a catalyst for me. So when the movie stopped being about Tom Holland trying to be with MJ and this whole let's make this moment happen, because I was really invested there, like buying the Black Dahlia and making this happen. I felt really invested there. when we just kind of really started getting to the whole Jake Gyllenhaal thing, and then it's revealed, obviously, that Mysterio is this ex-Stark employee. Even though I thought the idea of like the collection of angry Stark employees was kind of funny. It just was like,
I thought that entire scene
was weird.
The entire movie, that 5-minute scene
was the weirdest thing in the world.
Cheesiest and just like
cheer.
Yeah, that was the only part of the movie where I cringed a little bit.
I was just kind of like, yeah, all right. Like cool concept but weird, and then I was just like, all right, so Mysterio's not Mysterio. So it reminded me of the Mandarin, obviously, and that's the first thing I asked her. So what about the Mandarin thing? You know, and like Mysterio's a really cool character, and I liked how they tried to make it realistic, I guess, in this world, but and like close out I don't know, it just didn't do anything for me. There was no like real like. I never felt like, oh, Peter was in danger. I never felt that, you know, he was a a good guy to begin with. I knew that, but it didn't, you know, no engagement.
Which is a shame because the way that they designed and made Mysterio move, awesome.
Yeah, I thought there was some really great stuff.
And who'd have thought you could make a fishbowl head look good?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people were worried about that
because it's stupid.
And you know what?
But it didn't look stupid.
At first, I was like, you know what? I'm so into this, but then. I don't know, because I don't mind the Mandarin thing. I know we have differences on that. But this one was like, all right, I guess. Like, this to me didn't really work that much. Like, the whole, it's all, like, you know, droids and holograms. I was just like, oh, okay. But I was laughing
drones.
Yeah, drones.
Not droids.
I kept thinking about Galaxy's Edge, where I should be. But I was just kind of like, okay, and it's so fun, and I was laughing because, I could believe that this young man over here has the abilities to replicate a spider, but I don't believe that we could have all these, you know, these technology advances where we can make a hologram fight. But I don't know, to me it was just like, okay, but why? Why all of that? Just to complicate the story, to figure out a modern way for Mysterio, like, I just would have rather had that character. So for me, I just don't think the villain was very emotionally engaging. I think that ended up not feeling rewarding or really worth it. I honestly think that this movie would have benefited being a Peter Parker story, and about him dealing with MJ and thinking about if he wants to be Spider-Man rather than having all these threats. I understand in the world of, you know, blockbusters, the fight scenes, the villains, but I think it would be cool to do a Marvel story where maybe Peter Parker is more Peter Parker than he is Spider-Man, because I thought there was a lot more to explore there. And the ending, though, I think for me, with him flying in the air with Zendaya, was probably my favorite part of the movie. I thought that was awesome. Oh, real quick, though. Actually, second favorite part, because the first part, where we kind of got Spider-Verse-ish, was when we were able to really kind of play the environment.
That was crazy.
That I thought was such a cool moment. Like that was like, I was like, all right, now I'm in. Yeah, there's 10 Spider-Mans. We're going back.
That whole sequence was cool.
He's thrown in other you know, I mean, that whole, and he's fighting. Man, I was like, wow, like this is as close as the real Spider-Verse as we're gonna get, because, you know, we talked about it in our top 10 video. That ending sequence on that train is something that you just can't create in real life, and I was really surprised how close they got, because there were some really cool and deep moments in there, you know, playing with his head, and I wish we would have done that more, and instead we were, you know, making Hercules villains come out of the water and the fire and, you know, all that stuff. I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for that, but
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Not a bad movie, though. Not a bad way to celebrate America's independence.
No, it's great. Watch the movie. You'll enjoy it.
Absolutely. Spider-Man, I'm so really, like, invested in that Tom Holland character. I'm really excited to see where he goes. And it's good. The whole gang is funny. I mean, the kids are great. I was just watching My Cousin Vinny last night, and to see, I'm just like, how is that hurt? You know, it blows me away, Mr. Tomei. All of them, just good to see them all in a very just feel good, happy, family fun film.
Happy Hogan.
Happy Hogan. Look at you, killing it.
All right. Next week we have a crocodile in
The Crawl.
No, not the Crawl.
Oh, is that The Crawl?
I don't think so. Is it?
I don't know.
I don't think
Crawl.
so.
You're probably right, because The Crawl doesn't make sense.
Stoopy.
Stuber. Kumail Nanjiani. Dave Bautista.
Drax himself.
Which one are you looking forward to more?
Which one will I probably watch? Probably Crawl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, probably.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna mess with some alligators next week, but that's all right, because the following week we mess with the King of the Jungle. We're going to the deserts of Africa. We're we're visiting Pride Rock
Can you feel the love tonight?
and The Lion King. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2 weeks, Lion King will be here, and you need to reserve your tickets because they are going fast.
So,
of course, we have some fun next week here at AMC Town Square, back on Thursdays at 10 p.m., but it's the next week that you have to worry about. It's Lion King. Those tickets are flying. Text this guy, 702.
345-618.
Or comment below if you want to go, because you're going to have to be there. It's going to be one of the most amazing experiences. Why not share it with great friends?
There's only 2 major events in the movies in 2019. In 2 weeks, Lion King and Star Wars Episode 9.
Yeah.
Those are 2 events. When I was in Florida with my mentor, I took him to see Endgame.
Yeah.
And he said, and I quote, "Why do we have to watch it? Why is it so important for you to watch it on this opening night?" I said, "Because it's an event film." He was like, "You've never been to one?" He's like, "No." And after I brought him, he said, "Wow, you can never not watch a movie like that ever again."
Yeah, never not an opening.
And there's only certain movies that can create that atmosphere. Lion King is one of them.
And I want you all, close your eyes right now. Follow me. If you're not sure about going to our premiere, close your eyes right now. I want you to sit in the theater.
They're closed.
I want you to smell that popcorn. Feel to the right. You're gonna feel that the condensation on your pop. And I want you to imagine just a dark screen, and all of a sudden the and the rising sun that you're gonna see. There's only a few movies in the world that have an opening 3 seconds that could roar an audience.
And that is
Star Wars is one. The Lion King is the other. And let me tell you, to hear the audience react to that moment, either it be in silence and awe or cheering, roaring of excitement, it's going to be a moment you don't want to miss.
I don't know if it sounds stupid, but we're not joking.
Yeah, I'm not joking. I am
It's
pumped for those moments.
Event movies you cannot recreate.
Especially The Lion King.
I don't care if you have a 100-inch TV. It's not the same.
We all might be different. You might be on this side of this political spectrum. You might be on this side of the spectrum. At the end of the day, we all cried in Lion King. We all grew up watching one of the most traumatic experiences. We all went through that together, and now we all can share it again as adults and revisit our inner childs together. And relive it with new children.
Well said, my friend. Well said.
I can't wait.
All right, chasingcinema.com is known as
the Film Lovers website.